start.
Got it.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning in the evening. Hello.
Good morning, Rosa.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Morning, Michael.
Michael. So
Uh,
nice to see you and to have you here. Good morning. Big hug. And
Beautiful.
hello, Zander.
Hey, Rosa.
So, what are we going to do now, Zander?
I don't know. I mean, there's no plan. But all I know is that we have Michael Markham on today's chat about non-duality. And I have to say, I've been watching the post mostly on the Facebook coming from Michael, as it seems. And yeah, there seems to be an attraction to these types of posts, just spontaneously and innocently. And I love the way it's coming out there. So yeah, I was thinking, okay, we have to get this Michael Markham in front of a camera and let's see what's the story is there. You know how because
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Rosa and me were quite new to say, new and old at the same time
Yeah.
in this non-duality fantasy, whatever you want to call it, world. And as as I've been told, that Michael is like a grandfather in this play. So please, Michael, I would love to hear a bit, or we would love to hear a bit
Yeah.
how it is playing out there, how you came to this small community, which there seems to be people explaining the unexplainable, and that's what seems to be happening and not happening at all at once. So maybe you want to share a little bit the story.
okay, but first I'd like to sing you a little song. Um, that's just to create a little tension.
Nice. Love it.
No. um, yeah, anytime somebody does something like that, I go, oh God.
Yeah, I'm going like,
So
oh God,
sweet.
now,
Oh
yeah.
God.
That's exactly what's happening, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
Oh my God, what's he gonna do?
Oh, I would love to. Michael, if I know the song, I will sing with you.
I know you would.
I totally. I will sing
Yeah,
for you if you like.
you sweetheart. Um, yeah, you were going along with that. You were the only one. Somebody rolled their eyes. Oh gee. Oh my God. I love the spontaneity of these of life. Just whatever comes up. Uh, once choice disappears or the illusion of choice, one floats free in this mystery, whatever it is that we are caught up in for a brief moment. It doesn't last that long. I'm 80 now. It seems to have gone. Like, I think what happened, I look in the mirror and I laugh. I used to have black hair and lots of, it was long. Oh my God.
You
Um,
look in the mirror. Who is it? Who is
who is
it?
that? Who's that little old man? Yeah, it's so fun. I'm at this age, I'm considered harmless. I think to both men and women. My wife goes shopping and I go shopping in a different way. I look at people and I was walking down the aisle and a young Hispanic man walked by me hurriedly and he turned around and I said, how you doing? He said, I'm good. I said, good. I said, happy Thanksgiving. He said, thank you. He said, he was not expecting that. And I fell in love. And he moved into whoever I am becoming. That happens probably 10 times when we go shopping together. Um, I don't
Hmm.
interface with people as much as I'd like because I have so many health conditions. I had two doctors say, don't catch COVID or you'll die. So I'm really careful. I like to live. I love living. I love,
Beautiful, Michael,
oh,
beautiful. Me too, full on.
I can see that. Um,
I can see this too there. Beautiful.
uh, my youngest, not my youngest, one of my younger granddaughters, when she was little, when she hugged you, she'd wrap a leg around you. And it was so cute because she wanted to hug you more. And she's the only person who's ever done that, as far as I know. Um, I've tried that with mixed results. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Oh my God. Um, oh, I love getting up in the morning. I love going to sleep at night. I love being free of guilt and regret. Um, when choice is factored out, guilt evaporates. Um, I've done things I think I could have done different. Um, I've done my share of living. I grew up in Wyoming in a very drinking, fighting society in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which was very rustic at the time. Every night at the bars, whatever bar you were in, and there were four in this little town, there was a fight somewhere. It was a rodeo, rough and tough, heavy drinking world. And when I met my wife, my life changed, started to warm. I posted on a picture of our wedding that it's the day I left the Shadowland. And then I had a son and two daughters. And life was fast and beautiful and hard um, and lovely. I didn't see it until after I had an experience in Las Vegas where I had searched for 50 years. I read everything I could. Um, every non-duality writer and everyone who ever thought of non-duality. I was on forums and I went to see everybody I could. And I was TM and Course in Miracles and Don Juan and oh my God, you name it. And
Michael, may I ask you, what was the impulse for this searching, apparently?
it was life's longing. Every human is born with it. Life is longing. Every animal in the forest is not content. They're longing for something.
Not content, not content.
Yeah, no,
Something is missing.
something is always missing.
Mm.
In human beings, that longing is changed. We have life's longing. That's all sentient organisms. Also, all organisms do. Plants long for the sunlight. Um, but in human beings, our longing is objectified. We long for things that don't really exist: happiness, enlightenment, peace. Those are ideas, they don't exist. Um, so we're after an illusion, we're chasing an illusion.
Beautiful.
Ah,
Beautiful.
you're,
Beautiful.
you're
Boom.
beautiful. You're beautiful. Uh, some sometimes people will say like that, and I think, oh, he does it with mirrors. This mirror that we get for each other, because you can never see your own beauty, but I can. You can see each other's beauty, but you can't see your own beauty because you are it.
Or
That's
because there is no one's beauty, no one's, no my beauty, you know? The beauty is like, there is only beauty.
I think beauty exists only in the objectifying human mind. No other animal sits in awe of a rainbow, the beauty of of a hummingbird, um, the beauty of everything. That's human. We have to have imaginary separation to experience love and beauty, or beauty. Both love and beauty exist only in the human realm because of this imaginary separation. But the downside of that is this longing and loneliness. We are isolated in a world of our own imagination. The brain creates a consensus conceptual overlay that it mistakes for reality. And it goes out looking for things that don't exist. Something happens, or something can happen to the brain, where I believe it becomes rewired. And all of a sudden, life, it can happen slowly over time. And I've known 3 or 4 people to whom that has happened. Or it can happen in the catharsis, a mental breakthrough, breakdown, whatever.
Yeah.
When it happens to someone, it becomes apparent. They become sublime emptiness, and we are drawn into a vortex in their presence. I am drawn to so many people that I talk to, and I want so to hug them, but I know I never can. I know that language is what brings us together, and language is what separates us.
Beautiful.
I just wrote that this morning on my page from something I think Miranda Warren said. Something, this language is so beautiful. There's some wonderful books on language and the evolution of language and the evolution of the brain to accommodate language. It had to come together, I think, evolutionarily beautifully, in which we could have a chimpanzees can't talk because they don't have the mouth parts or the lips, the larynx. They don't have all of the apparatus machinery to talk, but we do. Somehow that came together, and this beautiful world of imaginary separation, beautiful, terrible world of imaginary separation happened. And here we are.
Perfection.
Well,
Stunning perfection.
yeah, stunning perfection. But even that is an ideation. There is a drifting along in a non-linguistic mentation, a spontaneity arising in the. When I first saw your faces, I was subsumed in a word that we don't have a word for. When you try to speak to someone in Japanese and they're using English, they'll pause and think, or Ukraine, or they'll pause and think, I don't have a word for this. And because, and I think that's true of individuals. We each speak a unique language, a unique group of memories and self-referential flotsam and jetsam. And so we're speaking a language that we have in common. Like if you speak 2 languages, you always come to words that you can't translate. And I think
Yes.
that's the human. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's here it seems to be 3 languages. My language, like the from the Netherlands, and then there's the Swedish language, which is the language of the country where I'm residing now, and then the English. So on a daily basis, I speak, and it was funny because I was leaving a message today to Rosa,
Yeah,
and
I
then
wanted to mention this. Yeah.
suddenly it went from English. It started with English, and in the end was the Swedish language, and it was only I noticed it on the end that I was speaking another language. So it's the same with thoughts arising in different type of languages,
Oh my God.
Here
and
it's the
it's
same. Here's the same.
quite and yeah, I don't know what to say. Nothing is coming up, but it's just there's a magic to it.
Magic.
It's very natural though. When we talked with Maria is from Bulgaria, and I know Bulgarian too. I lived a couple of years there, so he had also 3 languages, and
Oh my.
it's simply like there is really no difference in a way which one I take, but it seems as if you understand English, Michael, right? So maybe in order to understand what I want to share, it's better to speak English. But actually, I don't have to.
Sweetie, when you smile, this you can feel the warmth. That's I think a lot of human communication is the subtleties of facial expressions and body language and all of those subliminal transfers of information that the brain picks up on, and I don't think linguistically we're aware of them. When I was younger, I noticed things. Well, I over the years, my ideas of women changed. First, I was what isolated as a male, but then I joined. I was alcoholic for more years than I want to remember. Um, and at Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a 4-step where someone tells you everything they've done and everything they regret and everything. They tell you everything. And at the end of one of these things, which take 2 or 3 hours usually, you'll say there's something you haven't told me. And there always is. It's almost always the same thing. But I was in a community that had very few people with time. So women would ask me to sponsor them, and you don't do that in Alcoholics Anonymous, or that's not recommended. But I decided, okay, I can do this, and I did. And I learned that women are just like men, the same desires, the same mistakes, the same life. And then I started speaking at a Dove's house for battered women. Um, and I learned so much about the courage and the strength of women. The what? And I fell in love with women in general. Walt Whitman said, "I love the young women and they're beautiful. I love the older women and they're more beautiful." And that's true for me. I see the years and the tears and the bloodshed they've been through, and they still walk with their head up. And then I see that in all humans. I see it in toddlers, how brave they are. They fall, they get hurt, and they stand up again. Human beings are just incredible. They're the top of the mountain. 100 years of evolution has brought us to this point. All of your ancestors survived through the Middle Ages and the Ice Ages before that. You're the genes of billions of survivors. It wasn't easy to get where we are. And here we are wondering who we are.
Wondering who we are, if we are, to
Yeah.
begin with.
Yeah. Oh my God. And
It
all the
comes to
time.
this point, the line was this seemingly genetic line was never broken, and now this is the top of the bill, the asking, who is this, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah. Our ancestors didn't have time for that.
They
They
were
were,
hunting and chasing animals and
yeah.
seeking warmth within the cold climate or the dry climate or whatever it was
Yeah.
at that
Survival.
time.
Just bare survival. There was a young man who traveled to obscure tribes, and he was off in the forest with hunters who were out from the village, 2 or 3 days walk out. And he asked the main hunter what he thinks about all the time, and he didn't understand the question. So he said, "What do you think about all the time?" And he said, "Meat." I think about meat. What he can eat. Um, Hyper alert to any movement in the trees or the ground. That's all the time they have is to think about meat. And
It's,
here we are. I don't think about meat. I try to think about losing weight.
it's funny how it plays, how it plays, because today I was in the forest with my boss and we were checking how old the trees were, and there were these two big rocks which were pushed in this area because of the ice residing in of the small ice age, and there was this small cave, and both him and me were drawn to look, because and then mind starts to imagine, that before there was this need to search for shelter, and this finding out if this was a possible shelter place, and this seems to continue even on this day.
Yes. Yes.
So when these areas are seen, there's a certain type of longing or a certain type of interest to find out, just boom appearing to happen, and to look if it was possible to stay there and to take shelter from the climate. It's amazing, and it's just popping up. There's no, it's uncontrollable.
Everything is just popping up.
We see faces in the clouds. We see faces. I can find faces in the linoleum. I can see,
In the doors behind you.
yeah. Um, the reason the brain can do that is because seeing faces in the forest was important, because they were probably going to try to kill us and steal our women. So we look for faces. We do it unconsciously without thinking about it or why, but everywhere we can see faces. This brain is a survival reproductive mechanism, highly evolved. And for us, for humans, it developed this language. And here we are, sharing clouds passing through each other, eye clouds passing through each other for a moment in what we consider time, with the lingering perfume of each other's presence. Now you have moved on just into my whoever I am. You have become part of who I am just in this short time. I have fallen in love. And I think we can spend life falling in love. Oh God, it's so damn beautiful. Sharing beauty and love with other humans. I just, what? I've lost words. Rumi has a poem where he says, "But hush, we can go no further. We've reached the edge of language. We've reached the ledge of objectification." If you have more than one language, you have more than one world to live in, with nuances that are unavailable to us one languagers. I used to say I have two languages because I speak Wyomingian. I was born in Wyoming, and they have a certain lingo, a certain way of talking, and I can recognize if someone's from Idaho or Utah just by the way they talk. And we're tribal animals. There never will be peace in the Middle East. There never will be peace in the world.
Nope.
One time I wrote peace would be the end of humanity. And people said, "Oh no, that's not true."
And neither will there be an end of the need for peace.
That's true. We want peace. We gather a tribe around us so we can feel relatively safe. And that's where I think our tribe is just bigger now, but this love for each other is tribal. And it's the evolutionary reason for that is the fire starter was important. The old man was important because of his wisdom. Children were important because they were going to be the warriors of the future. Everybody was important. Um, a tribe was one entity in a way, one thinking entity, especially when you have a different language um, than your neighbors or a different skin color. I think prejudice is natural. People go, oh, no, it's not. It's not. If someone had a different language than us in the past, in the not too distant past, if they had a different skin color than us, they were dangerous. It's pre-wired. I can see somebody wondering, what do you think?
Well,
Sandra.
no, I think he's maybe pointing to Rosa because here it's just
Yeah,
simply
it's just I just enjoy those beautiful stories, Michael,
story.
you're telling. I'm totally in with this in loveness with whatsoever. It's really
Mm.
like full on in loveness, and no matter what, even with today's beautiful story I shared shortly with Zander Lynchian, and your comment was what? I forgot, but it was a laughter, yeah. And then
Well, I said even the mind can make the post delivery guy into a child support case or something like that. The mind
yeah,
can make the post delivery guy into a child support case. I mean, it's
whatsoever the story is, I don't want to go into the story now,
no.
but this was so beautiful. And when the perfection is seen, Michael,
Mm.
then there is simply the boom, the
Mm.
unknown boom.
Mm-hmm.
And there is simply here this which arose while you were talking. This is so beautifully simple, so
Mm.
simple. No matter what is arising, what is said, what has been labeled like this is so colorful, this is so overwhelming, this is so beautiful, and it is as it is, simple.
Uh, yeah, behind all the words, this tribalness, this closeness of, and non-duality is its own language. And
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You maybe there's a apparent way of reading minds now because this was coming up also when we spoke about languaging, that this non-duality is just another language, right? Isn't it?
true, true.
To express the inexpressible, the this, the life, the energy, the brain, the whatever names we give it, the loveness, the boundless love, the
It's so
unknown.
beautiful. It's so beautiful. I can remember hearing the story with 16, 17, like seeing the simplicity and not being able to talk about this.
Ah,
And this is
ah.
simply when meeting this community here, I was just like, oh, this is so beautiful just to talk the same language in a way, which is already no language, but it's, we just, yeah, this is so beautiful. Yeah.
It is. It's tribal, uh, and what I've lost the words. People outside the tribe, outside of this tribe, which is almost everybody. It's like
Yeah,
a foreign
it's a
language.
very small tribe.
Yeah, small tribe. um,
It's
if
this big.
we learn very quickly not to speak of this outside of these rooms, they think it's a cult or that we've been trapped in a some type of bizarre way of thinking about the world, um, and that's okay. I that doesn't. I just what I don't really go to family gatherings anymore because of this COVID thing. But or even I go into stores, but most good percentage from my wife's um, worldview. I try to keep my distance from people, but it's hard. I want to hug them. Uh,
Yes.
so I use words and I look at icons.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah. An old couple was holding hands some time ago, and they were so beautiful. They were my age. And I got out of the car and I said, "You guys are so beautiful." And the guy said, "What?" And she turned around and smiled. And I said, "You're so beautiful." They were holding hands. And I said, "How long have you known each other?" So he started to warm up a little bit. She said, "Oh, we were high school sweethearts." I said, "We were too." I said, "Isn't it grand?" And he said, "Yes, it is." And then men are protectors and cautious and all this stuff, all the wiring. But then he warmed up and we had this most wonderful conversation. And right now I can see them in my mind. I can see them walking hand in hand. Um, it takes just a little bit to open someone up. Uh, a smile. I one time I was walking through Costco and that large box store over here, and I asked my wife, "Why is everyone smiling at me?" She said, "Well, you're smiling." I said, "I am." Kids will pick this up really quick. You look at them and they smile back. And
Yeah.
one little boy was in the toy department. He was playing with a gun. He was looking like this. He was his mother. He was behind his mother, and he had a little fake plastic gun in his hand. And boys do that. It's just the nature of boys. You can't stop them. They'll use their finger if you take a gun away, plastic gun. So he was doing this. So I spotted him and I go like this and I'm looking at him and I go for my guns and I look at him like this and he goes like this. So he goes around and hides behind. So we're going. And so mother looks down and she's
Sweetheart.
so she looks at me and she goes, it was so much fun. Um, I
Oh,
want
Michael, with you, it is so much fun. This
it's
is
fun.
unbelievable. This is
Yeah,
unbelievable. But you
yeah.
see, I can really recognize a lot what you're saying here in the story too.
Uh,
Like this.
um,
Yeah, yeah,
women have to be a little careful. Um, Men will sometimes misunderstand and start
totally,
talking.
totally.
But men, especially old men, can be fearless. I don't carry anybody. My wife and I got lost in a large town next 50, 100 miles away called Fresno. And it has a very gangland part, a very rough part. Every large city does. But we got lost and we were wandering off and we didn't know where we were at, but we were hungry. So we went into a fast food restaurant and it was full of gang members. They all had tattoos up their necks. And oh my God, it was gangland. And everybody and the women and kids were there. So I assume it was all one gang or it was declared safe ground or I don't know gang language. So I walk in the door and my wife has a walker. So I open the door for her and I walk in and I think, oh my God. So I thought, well, we can't turn around and go. Like when I said I was going to sing a song, you couldn't leave. You couldn't stand. So I stood there not too long and I went over and there was an empty table. And so I was looking around the room like people do. And I caught it. Some of the men were checking me out. And so I was looking at him, and men do a gentle thing, a nod, just a gentle nod. And women don't do it, but men do. They'll nod at each other. It's like saying, "I'm okay. I'm not going to hurt you." So I don't know, 5 or 6 guys, and I just nodded at them, and then it was okay. So we ate our dinner, And we get up to leave, and one young, heavily tattooed man jumps up, opens the door for us.
Mm.
And I thought, oh my God, all of that worry for nothing. The world is dangerous. There are sharks that cruise. And I am aware of that. But for the most part, there is a meeting place where anyone can meet. Once judgment disappears, once we stop, judgment stops when it fully integrated that there's no choice anywhere in the universe.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Judgment in others happens, and then it happens with ourselves. We become free of guilt, shame, doubt. We're just floating along. We're just passing through. We're just floating
We
down.
are just, we are just, we
Oh
are
yeah,
just.
we are just.
Uh, Beautiful, Michael. So, the story is going to continue in part two.
Oh,
Look forward to. So, I see you in a couple of minutes.
okay.
Baba.
I'm going to leave now.
Yeah, I also.